My name is Olga Soto and I work for the University of Reno Extension. I'm a community-based instructor and I teach parenting classes in the community. Today I want to talk to you about teaching our young children scissor skills. It's very important for children to start learning how to use their scissors because it develops their fine motor skills. Now, scissors is kind of a subject that a lot of parents don't like to talk about with the children because they're afraid what they're going to do with the scissors, if they're going to cut their hair, they're going to be cutting clothes, or even hurt themselves. And that's understandable. But for the same reason, we need to teach our young children what scissors are and how to be careful. But teaching our young children to use scissors at a young age, it's a good idea because it develops their fine motor skills because they start moving their hands, which later on is going to help them to color, to grab the crayons, to grab the pencil, and to have better handwriting when they start learning how to write. So scissors is a wonderful tool. Now, like everything, remember your children need to learn how to do it because it's a skill they develop. Before we talk about the skill, let's talk about the safety. We need to tell our young children what scissors are. They're a fun tool where we could create nice things like do art and cut flowers and cut paper, but we need to be safe first. So first of all, we need to teach them how to hold the scissors because scissors are fun, but they can also be dangerous and they can hurt themselves. First of all, for safety, we never hold the scissors this way. We always hold them like this, facing down. And when children walk with them, they never run with scissors. They never walk with the scissors doing this. They just hold them this way, and then they put them on the side as they walk. And when they hand scissors to anybody, they have to give them to them this way. Never this way, because again, they could cut the person they're giving the scissors to. So for safety reasons, we always hand the scissors this way, and we hold them like this when we walk. Okay, once you cover the safety tips and they understand what scissors are, then you could go on the next step, which is how do we use the scissors. And first of all, if they see the scissors, you see they have a bigger hole and then a rounder hole at the top. The rounder hole at the top, that's where they put their thumb, and the wider one is where they put their two fingers to hold them this way. See, we have the fingers and the thumb. A good way for children to remember how to hold the scissors, because most of the children, when they start using scissors, they go this way or they go like this, and it's okay because they're trying to figure out how to use them. So you could put like a piece of tape or maybe a marking with a marker, so they'll know that wherever they see the tape or the marking, that's where the thumb goes. And once they learn to hold them, that's when you start doing the motion of open, close, open, close, open, close. It's just a fun way for them to understand the concept. Then they'll be able to practice with a piece of paper to hold the paper with one hand and then open, close with the other. So that's one of the steps that they'll be learning. Before you get into the scissors, cutting paper, children need to understand what cutting is, because to them they'll just start doing this or doing this and not getting the concept of cutting. So the first step is ripping paper. So just let them use their hands, because we want them to use their little hands, and just start ripping with their little hands. Start ripping the paper, ripping the paper. Now you're going to notice that some of the children, they still don't know that they need to pull, so they kind of will go like this and struggle a little bit until you get them to rip the paper. Okay, once they get the concept, they know they could also rip paper with their hands. The following is snipping paper. That's when you're gonna give them a piece of paper. Again, just cut little pieces of paper and just let them snip. Snip is pretty just cutting pieces of paper until they cut the whole thing, and let them do it by themselves. Again, practicing open, close, open, close, open, close. Okay, after they pass the stage of snipping paper, then we go on the fringing. And the fringing is on a piece of paper. If you could see on my piece of paper, you're going to draw little short straight lines. Now they need to understand that it's they only need to cut where the line goes and no further than the line, just where the line is, so we can make some fringes. Okay, so then they'll be cutting open, close, open, close, open, close, until they cut all the lines that you draw, and then they'll be making the little paper fringes. Then their skills are going to develop until you let them do it by themselves, and they could do it. Remember, be patient and let the children learn and cut at their own pace. After they got down the ripping, the snipping, and cutting short, until they get the fringing part, then you could start trying to get them to cut the zigzag, the straight, and maybe some curves. You could make some patterns on a paper of zigzags. You could make some curves, so they could start learning how to use the scissors and move them around while holding the paper, and then they'll be ready to be cutting paper around the shape of the paper. But first, they could practice doing long curves or long lines or long zigzags. After they get the understanding of doing this, then we go into cutting shapes, because remember, shapes are long lines. So they could start with a circle, go into a triangle, into a square, and then after they master cutting shapes, then it'll be easier for them to cut a picture or an apple or a car, because they'll already learn how to move their little hand enough to cut. Remember, you gotta let the children find out which hand they want to use. We have children who are left-handed, so they're going to have a little bit more problem using the scissors, because if you're right-handed, you're going to try to teach them your ways, so sometimes they get confused. So if you notice that your child's left-handed, let him show him the same concept, open, close, but let them hold the paper the way they're more comfortable in holding it. They're going to be doing it a little bit different than you are. Or the other hand, if you're left-handed and you're trying to teach your right-handed child. So just let them get comfortable with the scissors, let them get comfortable with the paper, and just follow. Let them follow the patterns, okay? A good idea is to start teaching them the concept of cutting around when they're 2.5, depending on your child. And there's some scissors that you might find that they look like this, which they're not sharp, and they're not used for cutting paper. They're used for cutting Play-Doh. Okay, so a 2-year-old, 2.5, depending on how you feel, you could start by teaching them how to hold the scissors. Then just get the concept of open, close with Play-Doh. You might want to let them get the Play-Doh and roll it into a little ball, so they could start moving their hands, and then with the scissors they could cut the Play-Doh, or have them roll the Play-Doh this way to make a snake, and then they could cut the snake with the Play-Doh scissors. Scissors is a fun tool. It's something they're going to be using through their school year, so it's a good idea for them to start learning at home and practicing, so then when they start school, they already know the concept of using scissors, and above all, how to be safe. So remember, if you don't tell your child about scissors, whenever they find them, they're going to cut things you don't want them to cut. Once a young child knows what scissors are and what he can do, he will only get scissors to do some fun things. All they need is a little coaching from you. Thank you so much. I hope you find my video helpful, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.